Good morning, everyone. I am coming at you from a very echoey kitchen. You might just be able to see the remnants of last night's Dominoes, which we ate in bed with the fur babies, and it was really lovely. We started watching Virgin River on Netflix, and I've got to say, it's probably one of the cheesiest programs I've ever watched, but also really, it's like a guilty pleasure. Like, we just kept watching and watching and watching. I feel like I'm forever gonna compare everything that I've ever watched to Downton, and I think that there will never be another Downton. So I'll always say that it's no Downton, but because I don't think Downton was that cheesy either. It was just good vibes, but maybe one day I'll get over Downton. But anyway, that's what we were watching last night. However, I have a lot to update you on in this video with regard to the house, because it has stepped up a notch. I'm not gonna lie, we're at the hardest stage, and I say hardest because it's the weekend, because when you're sort of left in the house at the weekend and there's nothing happening and you can't see the progress, that's always when I struggle, because I'm like, oh, I've got 2 days of like nothing happening. But next week, I think that things are really going to start to feel a lot easier, I hope, especially in our main living space, because we've now not just lost the use of the kitchen, but we have also lost technically the use of the living room, and we haven't lost the use of the hallway, but the hallway is a building site as well, because we've had a bit of a situation in that we are having my dream floor put down in the kitchen, and that will be screeded next week, which will mean that we're sort of out of the worst when it comes to all of this, because this is what I really don't like. There's like dust everywhere. This is like the worst sort of stage to be in. Like, it's not even worth sweeping it up because it's just a mess. And this is obviously where the tiles were laid, and our previous floor was like these really thin porcelain tiles, and then the floor in the hallway was a really thin Cardine. We basically realized that very quickly there was going to be a step of about that much between our kitchen floor and the hallway floor. So we've had to order more of this floor, and we are going to be extending it into the hallway, because it just would have been, first of all, a trip hazard, not great at all, but it wouldn't have looked right as well, because that amount is just too much. We've gone for like the lowest profile matting. So it's one of those things that when you sit down and you budget and you're like, this is my budget for this, it's one of those things that you kind of come up against and you're like, sorry my French, but that's what happens. And so what I'm trying to sort of go with is that it's going to look really lovely and fluid, because obviously we have the, well, I've got something to show you. You can see the plaster drying. We've got the archway, and so it is going to mean that there's that fluidity, but it's just an expense that was completely unforeseen. Anyway, let's give you an update on what is happening in the kitchen. So the cladding is completely finished. I didn't realize that I'd been getting the name of this wrong completely. Shiplap is the cladding that goes that way, and tongue and groove is basically one that goes vertically. I didn't realise there was a difference. I thought they were the same. You learn something new every single day. But yes, so this is how it is looking, and it's all finished off to perfection. Now, obviously, like I said in my last video, it looks like a sauna, and it's not ever going to look like this. Okay, as lovely as this, you know, wood is, it is going to be painted, and it is now ready to be painted. The light fixture has been put up. What we have done is, you will see that the light fixture is now not centralized here. That is because it used to be centralized, but then it wasn't centralized to the windows, which meant that the whole sort of visual down the table was on the wonk. I always used to take pictures so that you couldn't see that it was on the wonk. And I was really happy when Lauren was like, no, that needs to be centralized to the windows and to the table, because that was something that Ali and I had a little bit of a hoo-ha about, because I was like, no, we need to move it. But that has now been moved. I believe it's also been slightly lengthened as well, and you can see all of the electrics that have been brought through the paneling. So this will be where the new wall lights are going. This is where our speakers are going to go. We've got our plug sockets in, speakers over there. This lip, I believe we're still going to have the LED strip lighting. I'm not sure. I didn't think we were going to be keeping that, but I don't know for definite. The windows have been also cladded. We've got new window sills. All of the skirtings and the like underneath of the kitchens have been removed. We've now removed the handles as well. That's looking great. And so now we come out to the pièce de résistance. This is the unfinished new archway into the kitchen, and I don't know whether you will ever be able to appreciate the difference of this fully, because it's something that we just felt instantly. But it was like an instant feeling of openness when you were walking through the door, and it's been done so nicely and it feels so much higher and more grand into the space. So now you've got a real entry which feels like, it just feels very, very unrestricted. It is coming along very, very nicely and leads very, very nicely into the hallway. So the hallway floor is not quite so bad, but there is obviously still areas. We've got lots of little gates up to protect Porter and things like that. He's currently snoozing in the bedroom in his crate, and Lumi is on the bed. As you can see, our house is probably in, I mean, one pile of washing is not too bad, but for us, we were saying that it's kind of like a knock-on effect. Like once we'd come out of the kitchen and into the hallways, it really felt like all of our usual structure and tidiness in the house kind of fell apart a bit. And so there's a box of wine here, there's Ali's products here, there's a buffet there. And just to give you an idea of the dust at the moment, we have a lot of dust. This carpet is just going to be pulled back. Obviously, I'm not changing this carpet. This carpet, oh my gosh, is just the most incredible piece. It's going to need to have a little bit of a de-dust in some way, shape or form, but it'll be taken back and beaten out of it and just given a good sort of refresh, but it's not going anywhere. Yes, it's all kind of a little bit messy in the hallways. I mean, it's messy, but it's really tidy. Like the guys are so organized and really like on it. Then we go into the living room, and the living room is in this current state. So you've probably seen this room like this many times before. At this moment in time, what has happened in here is we have had our sockets that we had in the carpet under the tables removed. Basically what we realised was that this walkway in was really restricted, so seeing as we are removing the carpet, we wanted to make it a little bit better functionality wise. So the space has been planned, it's very similar in style, but we have obviously had to have a little bit of chasing in from the electrics there. So what they actually did, you might not realise, but they've actually already pulled this carpet up once and they turned this around. Yeah, oh my gosh. I was looking at this thinking, what on earth has happened? Like, why? What is wrong with this? But it's, yeah, don't worry. Yes, so what they've actually already done in here is pulled the carpet up, chased in the cables, because we're going to be having the sockets underneath the sofas, which gives us a bit more freedom. When we had the socket there, it meant that we could only have the table there, and we couldn't move the table, we couldn't change the table. Now that the socket sits underneath the sofa, if we want to change the table to the other side, it works really well. And if we want it back here, we can do that. We're losing the socket there because we realised that it just was a bit redundant, it was a bit too busy. So just a little bit more planning in this space. We are considering having our hearth fixed. As you know, our hearth cracked a number of times. I think this is our third hearth, or it's either our second or our third. It's cracked. It's just because of the way that it's been like put in and the type of hearth, and so we're thinking of changing it to something different. That's sort of on the cards, but we're not entirely sure just yet. So for the moment, this room doesn't look too bad. Obviously the curtains are down and the sofas for the most part are covered. I'm not sure why these guys aren't covered, but I can understand why Ali now didn't want me to put the covers on the sofas. Once this room is sort of ready to go, the carpet will be rolled up. My dad's coming to get it, and our new carpet should be going down then. And if you go out here, you might see a little sneaky peek. So that's something that we're going to go outside and have a look at in the garden in a minute. You can also see that we've taken the fleeces off the beds as well. So yeah, there's a lot of disruption and a lot of stuff everywhere at the moment, but I think that by next week we're really gonna see the more aesthetic side of things, because I'm actually really excited about this, because I think that what Lauren has done has really opened up my eyes to a lot of other things. I think on Instagram, we get quite like, we get fed a lot of the same stuff. Like things become quite trend driven, and like, you know, even when I moved into my house, I was like, I want to paint my whole house in Farrow & Ball. And obviously I love Farrow & Ball paints, but there are so many incredible paint brands out there. and I am so excited to experience some of them. Obviously in this room we're using a lot of Farrow & Ball. We've gone for Hardwick white. We've also got just a standard white. I believe that this is going to be for the ceilings, and this is from Dulux. But in here alone we've got 4 different paint brands being used in this space. You can also see the archway from this side. The plaster is still drying, but the plasterer has done a flawless job on this, and it really has opened up the space nicely. I'm so happy with it. Then we also have, like I've shown you before, we've got a number of different brands that have arrived over the week, and we're just trying so many different ones. So this is Georgetown. This is probably the one that I am most apprehensive about, because this is for the downstairs toilet, and this is almost like an aubergine kind of colour, and it's maybe a little bit too coloury for me, if you know what I mean. I like more neutrals, and this could be a neutral, I guess, like a natural shade, but I'm unsure. So I'm definitely going to ask them to sort of test it on the wall first, because I'm not too sure. This is for the downstairs toilet, for the panelling in here. So the panelling in here at the moment, I believe, is downpipe, and we're going to be changing that for the new wallpaper that's going on, and it's going to be this one. But I actually think that the wallpaper that we have will still look nice with downpipe, so I do just want to see it go on first before I make my final decision. So that's a paint that I am nervous about. I'm wanting to be trusting in this because I know that mine and Lauren's style is so similar. Obviously we've got the Pia Green, which I spoke about last time, which is for the centre island. It's actually Slate 5 that we're going for in here, not Slate 6. I think I put up, it's Slate 5. We've got an Architect's Satin Wood and an Architect's ASP. We've got some more Georgetown, and we've also got some more Hardwick White there. Then we've got some more Slate 5. Oh my gosh, we've got so much slate. So yeah, we're using lots and lots of different styles of paint, and that's really exciting me, because I'm hoping that in that we're going to show you some different things and bring you some inspiration from other places, because I feel like Farrow & Ball is just amazing. Like, they've got millions of followers on Instagram, but I think it's cool to show you a few things that maybe, or a few colours that you might not have considered as well. Not just green, by the way, not just green. What else is there to update you on, other than it's all just a little bit messy? Not too bad. We're trying our best to keep on top of things, but it is disruptive at the moment. But like I said, I think by the end of next week, this week coming, things will start to fall into place. And once these kind of areas are done, then it's time for our bedroom to be done, which is exciting. So that's in here. I'm gonna grab Ali in a minute. He's just in his office, and we're gonna head out into the garden. It's been quite sunny today actually, but it's not as sunny as I thought it was gonna be. People were like, oh, it's gonna feel like spring. I think it might actually be raining. Is it raining? No, that's just dust on our windows. It was gonna be nicer, but it's not sunny now. It might get sunnier later, but we're gonna take the dog for the walk because he is now able to go wherever he wants. We can take him to the canal, we can take him anywhere now that he's had all of his vaccines, and it's now over a week since he had it. So that's really good. And also the snowdrops are all out in the garden as well. I think I'm gonna shove on my boots because we are full weekend Lydia vibes, as you know. It's so funny, I'm gonna do that reels that's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I feel like Monday to Friday I'm like business Lydia, and then it comes to the weekend and I'm like fleece and leggings. But yeah, so we've got the greenery starting to come in the garden. It's very exciting. I was actually on Sarah Raven last night picking seeds that I was going to start planting into the garden. I've also been having a really good think about furniture and stuff like that. But let's get outside, let's go and have a look, because I think that this is going to be so exciting. I didn't even go out yesterday and look at it because I wanted to kind of do this with you. And basically the guys finished up yesterday and I was on a Zoom call, so they did the handover with Ali, which was like, no, but Ali's gonna run through everything so that I understand exactly what they've told him and everything that I need to know. So time to slide on my boots. Obviously the house is littered with Porter's toys. Come on, Mr. MG. Time to head outside. I need you to give me the guided tour of my greenhouse. Oh, I'm so excited. If there's one pair of boots that is probably one of the best purchases you can ever make, it is the Holland Cooper Wellingtons. Oh my goodness. I don't think I realised how much I would end up wearing these, because I love the look of my Dewberry boots, or my Dewberry boots, and also my Passerico Wellington boots as well. But the fact that these have this like Sherpa lining means no socks needed, and you just slide your foot in so conveniently, and they're so easy to get on and off. That's one thing I struggle with my Dewberry boots, is that they are very, very hard for someone that has a high instep like I do. They are a bit of a nightmare to get off. Like, you need to have a proper boot pull system, which we do have, but these are just the most practical and the warmest I think I've ever used. Guys, it is time to head out into the garden. So I've got all of these little pots that are just kind of scattered around my garden, and they are all going to be moved into the greenhouse and popped on the strawberry boards, even though the floor's not finished, because they won't need to be moved. But it's a little bit windy today.
Good morning, everyone.
Is that Mr. Millen Gordon takeover? Oh, lovely.
We're going to be going on to the greenhouse tour, where I'm going to be doing an official handover. A lovely...
Yeah, it's really nice keyring, isn't it?
Which you'll see on the top of the greenhouse.
It matches the finials. We're also deciding on what to border the area with. So we're thinking of either doing a lavender border or a lavender and rosemary border to the area. So here we can see as well my broad beans doing well. We need to get some netting up, but remember the guy that I told you was flourishing? I don't know what happened. I honestly just don't know what happened. I don't, like, this is literally a matter of days ago and he's gone. And it almost looks burnt now. But that one is now the one. So I need to get some netting over it, really. So, guys, welcome to the greenhouse. Oh, I love that they've installed...
Here you've got a door latch, so you can have your door kept open on the latch.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to get one of those for the front door. Oh, wow.
So as you can see, we've not finished the floor.
No.
At the minute, but it's something that's a work in progress. These are your vent windows, looking out, and then you'll be able to open your window.
Oh, wow.
And then when you find your desired position, you can insert the pin.
I really hope the guys from Alitex watch this and they can give you a rating out of 10.
That is your window mechanism.
It's quite a mechanism, isn't it?
So, I just want to bring your attention to the light fittings. You'll see right here we've left a connector for the electricians to come and wire these up.
One thing I said to Ali was that I'm a little bit underwhelmed with the lights.
Yeah, that's fine. We can also change those very easily.
Yeah, no, I know, but I paid for them and I'm a bit sort of like, oh, I think that they could have been a bit nicer.
Just before we move over to this section, you'll see that you have some holes that go through these frames that you can use to wire. So if you were to put, say, grapevines or something along the back,
yeah,
this is a nice little feature that you can wire through. Really lovely effect, and also gives some nice privacy.
Do you know what? I'm looking at this.
Thinking if you build out, you're going to have no room.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. I'm actually, because basically I was supposed to have a built-in raised bed here. It's not been built, and I'm actually really glad, because this is enough for me, like all of this area. So I put some stories up on my home account and people were really sort of confused because I put pictures of like a table and like dinner settings and things like that in the greenhouse as like inspo. But basically what I was gonna do was go for the Mottis font greenhouse. It's the smaller one. Oh look, the pheasants are over there. It's like their smallest one. What I ended up doing was going for the Tatton, which is their next one up, because I wanted it to be like a bit of a jewel space basically. So on this side is where I've got all of my greenhouse kind of greenery.
We've currently just stuck these down on a piece of wood until you hire your floor.
Yes, because this is the floor here. Carpietra, Naranjo, tumbled and etched cobbled limestone, but this one's been a little bit covered.
So,
is that everything?
That's what's finished in here.
So I want to talk through what I've got planned for in here now, because obviously this is where, so basically up here, I just want to have lots of different terracotta pots, like filled with plants and flowers, and like I want to do some like chilies eventually and things like that, which I think that Ali will obviously enjoy, and just have it full of just plants basically. Here is where I'll obviously do a lot of work. There'll probably be some pots and things like that in here. I'll also have trays and things like that underneath with all of my equipment and paraphernalia and stuff like that. So this is really sort of like the working side of the greenhouse. What I want to do over on the side where my lovely husband is. I want this to be a bit more of like a social area. And the vision always was to have some kind of table, some kind of bistro table here. I'm actually now on the hunt for a table that I want it to be round. I want to be able to turn this space into somewhere that we can actually like, I can have the girls over for drinks basically and put tablescapes together and make it really beautiful basically. I would want it to extend to 6 because you could literally just put the table, hold on, where can I put you up? So, what I wanted to do is like have it mainly focused in this area because then I can have like some tomato plants in this area. What I want to be able to do with this table here is bring it out and extend it here so that if I want to have, I mean, I don't really have that many friends anyway, so I think it's a push to think of 6 anyway, but it just gives a little bit more space. Now, we have another option as well because I follow this lady and I can never remember her name, but she's got the most incredible greenhouse. She uses it as both as well, as an entertaining space but also as a greenhouse, and she really like inspired me with hers. And she's got a log burner in her greenhouse, and I just thought if I try and put a log burner in this now, I'm going to make it even harder. However, I do really want a log burner in here. So they did actually say, and it would work quite well to go here in the centre because it's got this central panel. Yeah. Or
this is what I would do. I'd stick the table here in this corner
I don't want it there.
And have the log burner in this corner.
Or you just have the log burner there and you put the table here
in front of it.
Or there.
So you'd have a chair there, and a chair there in the winter. Yeah. The log burner here, so if you were cold, you could sit there and there and you're by the fire. Yeah.
Anyway, so at the moment I found those bioethanol stoves, and I also think they're amazing because, you know, if we had wanted to put a fireplace in our old house, we would never have been able to because we were mid-terrace, but you can put one of those in, you get a fake flue and you just put it out. Anyway, so we're just going to try and decide, because the guy said from Alitex that it's pretty simple to put one in. What they would do is they would cut a hole in the glass, add a metal plate so that the glass wouldn't crack, and you just feed the log burner in. So anyway, there's things that we're sort of still considering in here, but
it is amazing.
It
feels solid and firm, and it feels like a space that's going to really keep heating as well. The ducks are on it again.
Oh,
they're flying around. There must be mating season or something.
But there's still a lot of work to do, like on the outside, because we obviously need to reseed basically like the whole surrounding area. With the floor going down, because Ali's going to speak to his friend who's an electrician so that we can put underfloor heating down. So I didn't pay for heating in here. So I didn't pay. There's 2 options. There's like a sort of just a heater that you can get, which was like £200. And I ended up going for neither of them because I spoke to Carrie's mum, and Carrie's mum was a bit like, you don't know what you're going to need yet, so don't pay for anything that you don't know that you're going to need. However, I would rather go for the underfloor heating in here and then have the stove to be able to amp it up if I need to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Rather than have an ugly thing that I hate and makes it look crap in here, I'll go for the thing that's like the subtle heat, which is the underfloor heating. Yeah. And then the stove if I'm like entertaining in here. So anyway, I think that when the floor is finished, it's going to feel absolutely unbelievable. It's a bumblebee.
I think is it a baby wasp, or is it? It's a baby whatever it is.
Go slide that bumblebee. So yeah, that's where we're at basically with everything in here. I actually can't believe that it's like up and like it's here. It feels very surreal. It is a bumblebee, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bee. It's got a thingy on it.
What? Pollen?
Yeah, but it had like orangey colour, so it could have been propolis.
So lots of people said to me that I should have gone higher with the greenhouse. Now this is what I understand to be the standard for a greenhouse. The reason why they build them like this is because with this greenhouse we didn't have to apply for planning permission.
You need to check the planning board.
Yes.
Where you live,
yeah.
To check that
we're not advising you on what you can do, but for us,
find out what your building regulations are. But essentially, if you're not within 2 metres of neighbouring property, registered as a certain height that you're allowed to build up to.
Yeah.
And then the roof is another. And obviously greenhouse companies, they're well aware of these regulations, which is why you have really low eaves and really high peaked ceilings, because that's the way to work around and maximise the space to stay within the guidelines.
Yeah. So
let's go on Honeybee Walk.
So we're going to be removing these frames. Look at my garlic, babe. Look at my garlic.
Yeah.
I've got some rosemary to plant there. Parsley. This is the very first parsley that I ever planted, and it is still doing really well. We've got some thyme here. So now Ali is taking us through Bumblebee Walk, which is at the moment very picturesque, aside from this area. Wow, look at this. Oh wow, look at all of the... This is just stunning. Look at all of these snowdrops, being very careful not to tread on them. I want to get right down to this thick area here. Oh, look at that. Wow. Bumblebees. There's lots of bees, babe. So many bumblebees.
Huh?
So many bumblebees. So this is just a walk through our little wooded area. These are like honeybees.
Yeah, the honeybees. They're collecting.
Big bumblebee there. Look at that. That is huge, that one.
Yeah.
Covered in pollen.
This looks like, well, that was actually probably nectar from here.
Yeah.
Let's have a look, yeah. It could be, but sometimes it's propolis.
Propolis. It's so amazing seeing like the first signs of spring coming in. And this is actually where we've like made the path out for us to walk through. But it's become overrun with snowdrops, which is beautiful. So we've taken all of the rings off the bed. I've planted my rosemary. I've actually just noticed that my lemon balm from last year has already started to come up, and this mint as well. I am going to dig up this mint and put it in a plastic pot and then put it in just to contain it a little bit. I've also started moving in some of my terracotta pots into the space, because I've just popped it up on my strawberry boards up there because that won't need to come out when the floor goes up. So this can just house all of my pots, because I did actually lose a couple of pots when they froze. Brought in some of my seeds because I need to go through those. I've got a body warmer, your shuffle fleece and your barber jacket on.
I'm pretty hot.
Are you? It's actually really mild today. This one is in his carrier just because we're going on a bit of a longer walk. Yeah, he's in there because we're going on a bit of a longer walk. But we want him to do some walking near main roads so that he gets used to cars and things like that, because we usually walk in our very secluded utopia here. He's not getting much socialisedness.
Noisiness.
Yeah, noisiness and things like that. So he's in there. We're going to walk to the new barn shop where we live and have a little mooch around there.
Not been?
No, we've not been. We don't leave our
Apparently,
house.
they do a seriously good bread selection, which we kind of know anyway.
Yes. Oh yeah, because of what they actually serve at the plough. So yes, so we're going to have a little walk down there after doing a little bit of gardening, and if we get back in time we might just tidy up.
Grass on and go to town on it.
Yeah, I think we'll do a bit of a tidy up just so that it's ready, and the floor doesn't matter, because the floor being in front of the greenhouse is upsetting us both because it's ruining how like lovely it looks. So we always come and visit these goats that are down our road, and they're hilarious. They're like little sausage dog goats because they've got the same flappy ears, and they're in this little field. But we've just noticed, I don't know if you can see in the background, just there, they've got tiny little piggies. Oh babe, I really want a pig. Can we get a pig? I am one. Can I get one? Can we get a pig? Hello. 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 I love a little flappy ear. They're very like beautiful goats, aren't they? There's actually 3 little goats that are for sale in our village Facebook group at the moment. Slightly different to those. And Ali won't let me buy them.
I don't think we've got enough land.
No, I don't think we've got enough land either. But still. Maybe I could take them for walks. back from our walk. Project, move the flooring into, well, we're going to move it around the back of the greenhouse so that it's not obstructing the view of the greenhouse like it was. The only thing that we've noticed is I actually ordered the cobbled flooring, but this is the random, but it's actually worked out for the best because this means that it matches in the kitchen perfectly, because I ordered the cobbled because that's what we were going to have in the kitchen, but then we've changed it, and so it's worked out for the best. However, I did just go to pick up this particular piece here, and that big black thing is a very large spider. So yeah. Now, you might call us crazy, but we have just had a bit of a clean of the house. Very minuscule clean, but we've wiped down all of the surfaces, and I even found myself hoovering the hallway. I've got the bedroom ready for us to snuggle down and watch some Virgin River, potentially, or we're going to watch Devils. We haven't decided yet. We're going to check how many episodes there are of Virgin River. Ali is cooking up a storm in the kitchen. He's making, well, pasta bolognese. And we've also got a fresh loaf that we picked up from the plough. This is a cheese and Marmite one, isn't it? With some balsamic and the really lovely oil. I always buy you, whenever I go somewhere fancy, a nice balsamic vinegar, don't I? Yeah. So we're going to tuck in, have some dinner, and then curl up. Porter has taken himself to bed, and I think Lumi's done the same, so